Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Davo from Archon Esports, bringing you another 1v1 StarCraft 2 cast. Okay, so on the left-hand side of the map, we have MouzThorZaIN, who is our red Terran today. And then in the blue corner, as it were, or the blue side of the map, i.e. the left side of the map, we have the blue Zerg, who is LiquidRet today. Awesome. This is Metalopolis, and it is actually the MLG version of Metalopolis that these players will be on today. Just a little bit about the players. Let's see. LiquidRet. Okay, he is 26 and from the Netherlands, and he plays Zerg in StarCraft 1. Apparently, he is also colorblind, so I don't know if that makes a difference on whether or not he can't see if his... I don't know what kind of colorblind he is, but, you know, might make a difference, seeing as he might not be able to see exactly what health his units are from the colour scheme in the bars, i.e. the yellow, red and green colours. But I'm sure it doesn't make too much of a difference. So we do have Rhett doing his Overlord scouting now, but neither player actually doing any sort of mega scouting with SCVs or drones or anything like that. Okie dokie. So we have a fairly standard opener for both players. ThorZaIN opting to block off his ram like most Terrans would do in a Terran vs Zerg matchup. And that's all cool and good for him. Awesome. We do have an expansion going down for LiquidRet at the moment. And also, I'd like to take the time. Oh, there's spawning. I'd like to take the time here to just quickly mention that I should be doing a little StarCraft tournament just between amateurs here in the south of England, which is a 8-player thing. But it's really just some of its main functions and stuff like that are to kind of raise kind of awareness that, you know, I'm here, as it were, doing this. But it's a very, very casual kind of thing. Really, I mean, the whole thing is just like friends of friends and stuff like that, so. But it should be pretty fun. I can't see any reason why it wouldn't be fun, and after all, that's what video games are all about, is fun. And StarCraft is, believe it or not, a video game, even though I wish it wasn't, even though I wouldn't like to cross a Zerg unit in real life, because I'd probably get murdered. Somewhat. Okay, so we do have a kind of strategic Overlord placement in the middle here from Rhett, and that's going to be able to see if well, it's going to be able to see what's coming, essentially. I think Rhett did actually spot this Reaper coming on his way in, which will be going into to harass his mineral line somewhat. And of course, Reapers are a really, really good harassment tool, but once the Queen Ton comes out, he might find his job a little bit harder to do. And we do have Rhett running some of his drones away, as they do die pretty quickly against that Reaper. I don't know, the Reaper's a unit you don't see used all that often, surprisingly. Quite a lot of Terran players favour using Hellions instead of Reapers, but they can be a bit of a pain in the arse to get rid of, basically. Okie dokie. Alright, cool, we do have an expansion coming up for ThorZaIN as well at the moment. And it'll be interesting to see whether or not ThorZaIN actually goes mech in this build, because I know that he does favour his mech build somewhat, primarily liking to get siege tanks and Thors and stuff like that out. A little bit more than Marines and stuff, but lately he has made a kind of a smooth transition into going more bio builds and stuff, but you can see clearly that he has some Hellions on the field right now. He's got one here and another one just building here with the blue flame upgrade, so it does look like he will in fact be harassing his opponent. He also has a starport coming out as well, which obviously will make way for perhaps some Banshee play, or he could do some drops as well with the Hellions, which would make them a little bit more effective as well, because it would skip having to go past this spine crawler in Rhett's base, and there is another spine crawler here, so it does actually look like Rhett is actually... he actually knows what perhaps is going to go down, and that has maybe actually contributed to the fact that he has that he has some scouting overlords in the middle of the map here. This Reaper has actually seen better days though. He is still a recruit, although killing 4 drones. Unfortunately, he's still just a recruit. Poor guy. He needs more money to take back to his wife and kids. Here we do have the beginnings of what is going to look to be some sort of Hellion aggression here from ThorZaIN, and I'm not entirely sure what sort of structure of build ThorZaIN is actually going to go for at the moment. But at current it does look like it's going to be a fairly mech orientated play. He does have siege tanks coming, and he has Hellions coming out. Well, he has Hellions on the field as well, along with that siege tech as well. This could be very hard for Zone to actually deal with in the mid game too. And here is that medevac drop that I suggested might happen earlier. These Hellions unfortunately are going to probably get cleared up by these Zerglings here, because they got surrounded far too easily. But then ThorZaIN actually goes and drops them on the low ground instead, that actually allows them to deal some damage without taking any damage from the Zerglings themselves. Now on the other hand, I mean, these Hellions need to be careful now, because they'll die fairly quickly. They're quite low on HP. It's quite a difficult situation for ThorZaIN. So I mean, he has actually bought some SCVs out off the line to take care of this issue, which I do commend quite thoroughly. We have Rhett up here waiting for ThorZaIN to slam down an expansion or something, but I'm not actually sure it's going to happen yet. But nevertheless, of course, it's a very good idea to anticipate that kind of play anyway. Here we do have a Marine that's going to come out and take the watchtower, therefore giving a lot more. He's not going to take the watchtower at all. Was that a misclick perhaps? Who knows? He's just going to stand under the light bulb there. Poor guy, he looks kind of lonely. There we go. It looks... Yeah, now he's going up to go and take the watchtower. I think it must have been a misclick or something like that. And we do have some Zerglings running up here who look like they might be going to go and check out ThorZaIN's base a little bit. I mean, nevertheless, they're going to find this poor Marine who was standing under the street lamp and now has just got brutally murdered by these Zerglings. We do have Mutalisks out. Ugh, ew, Mutalisks. My least favourite unit. I keep saying that all the time, but they do look really cool. But I mean, this could be a little bit of trouble for ThorZaIN here if he's not careful. Because he doesn't have much in the way of anti-air units. He does have some Marines and stuff, and he is getting a missile turret or 2 or 3 even up in his rear, up in his main base, which will definitely repel the Mutalisk aggression. So that should be absolutely fine for now. But ThorZaIN has definitely started manufacturing quite a lot more Marines in order to cope with the new Mutalisk threat. And there are a fair amount of Mutalisks actually. There's actually 11, which is reasonable. But they do need to be careful of these Marines, because Marines do turn Mutalisks into absolute chop suey very, very quickly. Okay, up here we do have Zerglings just chilling, waiting for their opportune moment to strike. Awesome. And it looks like we might see Rhett actually giving us some Baneling play to think about here, seeing as he has got the centrifugal hooks upgrade on the way, and these Hellions need to be very careful of the Mutalisks, otherwise they'll just get taken out completely and they need to just run away. And it looks like this tech lab might not suffer a similar fate to one of those Hellions that just went down, seeing as it was covered quite nicely by the Marines that were sitting in ThorZaIN's base. Awesome. We do have what looks to be a expansion on the way from ThorZaIN. These 2 Marines that are going to go and check out to see if the coast is clear, which of course, as observers, we have the primary kind of satisfaction of knowing that the coast is not clear at all, and now these Lings now know. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, bits of Lings just went flying everywhere, courtesy of these siege tanks. As far as this move out is concerned, he does need to be careful. I don't know if ThorZaIN has actually scouted the Baneling tech yet, but I mean, the more Marines he builds to cope with this amount of Mutalisks could put him in a more vulnerable state if Rhett does in fact go for the Banelings instead. I mean, he has got the centrifugal hooks upgrade, but he hasn't actually started making any banelings just yet. And we do have more Zerglings on the way here for Rhett that look like they might be going into harassing this expansion with the Mutalisks here. I mean, this is less of a harassment move and more of a total destruction move. I think these 7 or so Marines are actually going to have a really, really hard time dealing with this, and if the siege tank gets surrounded by the Brilliants, that won't last very long at all. The expansion just went down for ThorZaIN, and that will be a bit of a downer for him, because that is 400 minerals that is just essentially lost straight away. So that's a pretty worth it attack, delaying his opponent's third base. Now we do have ThorZaIN taking his, LiquidRet taking his 4th base as well, which will give him an economic lead, seeing as his opponent is actually only on 2 base at the moment. I mean, this amount of Mutalisks is actually fairly deadly. They can go up against quite a lot of missile turrets without really flinching. They do kill missile turrets pretty quickly, point in case here. And they will leave quite a lot of ThorZaIN's SCVs pretty helpless. Now ThorZaIN just lost loads of SCVs, like loads of SCVs. Oh dear, that's not good at all. Just try and get the right angle here and zoom in a little bit. Okay, so there's basically all of ThorZaIN's anti-air units in the main base gone. You have to wonder what sort of harassment more ThorZaIN can actually take in this game. Now, Rhett has lost quite a few Mutalisks, but nothing really to worry about too badly. And then up the right-hand side of the map, we do have a large detachment of Zerglings coming up here, again looking probably to harass ThorZaIN's 3rd again. These Mutalisks do, however, have to be really, really careful of this Thor, because they do take down Mutalisks very quickly with their splash damage, indeed. And we do have a drop coming in here from ThorZaIN. It's going to be doing quite a lot of damage, but I don't really think it's nearly enough revenge damage, as opposed to what just happened in ThorZaIN's base. Okay, so we do have the expansion landing here, which is actually going to be a planetary fortress, and I think that's a very, very wise decision from ThorZaIN. He needs to get this expansion up, so he's going to do everything in his power to do that, and that includes getting a planetary fortress up with some missile turrets as well. But if you look at the supply tab at the moment in the top right-hand corner, we can clearly see that Rhett has about 70 more supply, and I mean, 70 supply is quite a lot. If you can quickly get in here and completely snipe the planetary fortress, that'd be a massive victory. And then we can see the 4th being magic boxed by the Mutalisks, which reduces their splash damage massively. They are, in many ways, in my eyes, the ultimate harassment unit. They might have a little bit of trouble harassing this area now because of the missile turrets and the Marines, but needless to say, ThorZaIN still needs to be pretty careful. It looks like the Mutalisks are actually going to sweep back round here to go back into ThorZaIN's base again. And I mean, Rhett being the incredibly strong player that he is, actually has his 5th base up now as well, and that it's very strong. Basically, these Zerglings look like they should be going for the siege tanks right here, and they're going to take out many of the siege tanks. It's not looking great for ThorZaIN at all at this moment in time, but I mean, Rhett does have to stay away from that Thor, which could easily destroy his Mutalisks if he's not careful. We do have a lot of Zerglings for Rhett. We have 83 Zerglings. Ooh, and Broodlords on the way as well, which will go a long way to actually just fully destroying ThorZaIN's either main, natural, or 3rd, or in this case, maybe 4th, because ThorZaIN is actually working on a 4th expansion as well. I wonder what ThorZaIN would be thinking if he could see these coming. I don't think he'd be too happy at all, as Broodlords are. They're a fairly beastly unit. They do a lot of damage at a pretty incredible range, which is awesome, because when the broodlings actually come off them, they do damage when they hit the unit as well. It's kind of like a bonus damage. Yeah, we do have broodlings here summoned from broodlords that have just eaten a marine successfully, and this does look like it could very well be curtains for ThorZaIN. this point in time. And there is the insane amount of damage that Brood Lords actually do. But I mean, and here are the Banelings as well that are going to take care of most of ThorZaIN's anti-air, because obviously most of it is Marines in fact. Yeah, there is the GG well played from ThorZaIN. It's not a massive surprise to see that at the moment, because he did just lose basically all of his stuff. He wasn't allowed to expand very much from the third base at all. I don't know, really, it was a pretty one-sided game, really. It was a very good game. Very good game. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to you guys next time. Have lots of fun playing StarCraft and have a nice day.